Let me tell you how it ends. Not with a fight, not with divorce papers, but with two people lying in the same bed, separated by a big wall of ice. Some men stay here for years. They become the loyal but broken brother, faithful, dependable, and completely invisible. They're still protecting, they're still paying, still waiting, but no longer chosen. I've seen this play out in marriage after marriage. You think you're safe until one day you wake up and the fire is gone. And every man in a sexless marriage whispers the same questions. Why doesn't she want me anymore? What have I done wrong? Is this my fault? Has she changed? Can I ever reignite the desire in my marriage? And the one question that men only admit in the dark is, how do I know if my marriage isn't already over? Now, I've spent nearly 4 decades coaching men and women, and it gives me quite a big insight. And here's what I've learned. Sex doesn't just vanish. It tends to follow a trail. It's got a sequence to it. And if you can see the trail, you'll know the truth, whether there's still fire to ignite or whether the fire has completely gone out for good. So let's go down and let's follow the clues on this. Why does sex stop? It doesn't just vanish overnight. It dies step by step, like a little flame on a candle just kind of flickering out. The first step is the body shifts. Hormones change, stress rises, childbirth, menopause, even medication. Suddenly her body isn't her ally anymore. And sometimes it's feeling like it's actually working actively against her. So therefore, all of a sudden, intimacy can become really uncomfortable and even painful. Now, that's not a rejection of you, that's survival. She's doing it to avoid pain. And this is where many men fall into the first trap. They become the addicted comfort seeker. Instead of addressing those health issues, you retreat into easy habits, food, drink, screams, anything that will numb you, hoping that things will magically reset at some point in the future, and they don't. Step 2 is probably the overload. Life turns into a battlefield. You've got your bills, you've got your kids, you've got your deadlines, you've got endless obligations going about all over the place. By the time you reach the bedroom, she's already becoming tomorrow morning's project manager, but not tonight's lover. And this is where most men collapse into the second trap. It's the overburdened provider. He works, he provides, he serves, but he has nothing left to give that might spark desire. No surprise, no danger, no energy to lead. He's spent before the night even begins. He's shattered before he gets into bed. Step 3 is the disconnect. It's those small little resentments that start to pile up, the things that go unsaid, the moment unseen. Sex isn't just physical, it's the signal that says, you and I were really okay. And when you're not okay, that desire just shuts off. Now this is where you become the invisible man. You're unseen, you're unheard, you're a ghost in your own home. And you're wondering how you went from being a choice to being a shadow. Step 4 is the mismatch. This is one that most of us have probably been at some point. One of you wants more. One of you wants less. This one wants to pursue. This one wants to reject. Pursuit, rejection, until the dance becomes a war. You stop being lovers and you become beggar and gatekeeper. This is the realm of the demoted lover. You're reduced to pleading for scraps of intimacy, stripped of respect, and you're chasing breadcrumbs instead of feasting on the banquet of a living marriage. Step 5 is boredom. You stop being lovers. You're co-parents, flatmates, project managers. Routine absolutely strangles desire. And this is where the lion becomes a lapdog. You're safe, you're soft, you're predictable. She looks at you with indifference. This is the home of that addicted comfort seeker again. Once you were dangerous, now you're tame. You get mumsy and then you get dadsy. Dadsy is just as unattractive as mumsy. Now, do you remember when millions of women devoured those little hidden romance books that they all used to look at? It wasn't the writing, it was the spark inside it, the danger, the fire. And that's a clue there. Desire doesn't just die because of age or kids or even years together. It dies when your polarity collapses. Now, what is polarity? Polarity is the magic spark that kind of between the two of you. It can pull you together and make you absolutely inseparable, or it can repel you like two strangers in the same bed. Now, when you become tame, that charge that was holding you together is just gone. It's dissipated. Now, the nuclear question is my marriage over? Or is it? Is the sharper question, does she want me anymore? It's one of those two. It's the question that you try and avoid, but it gnaws at you at 3 a.m. and you're lying there and you're staring up at the ceiling, you can't get back to sleep. If she doesn't want intimacy anymore, that's biology. stress or self-abandonment. But that's her battle. A woman can stop wanting sex and still like you. But when she no longer likes you, your touch, your presence or your company, then desire's gone. And without respect, and if she starts to berate you and belittle you, you can't build anything. There's no desire coming back. And that's where men fall into the next trap, the packless wolf. You're howling, but no one's answering. You keep chasing these scraps of attention from a woman who's checked out. She's not interested in you. You're loyal, yeah, but you're broken, invisible in her eyes. Now, respect is the gateway in that situation. Lose it and the door to desire slams shut. And it's those 3 a.m. questions. Is it your fault or has she changed? And this is what men torture themselves with at 3 a.m. The truth is, it's a bit of both. Maybe you've stopped leading, you've become predictable, you felt the distance, but you kept postponing change until the fire was gone. Now that's the man that waited too long. We all know those guys that, you should be going to the gym and you're not doing it and you get bigger and bigger. Every time you begged, every time you backed down, every time you gave in, you trained your wife to reject you. And maybe she shifted too, the stress, the hormones, maybe her self-abandonment. That's where you meet the overburdened provider. A man crushed under responsibility, running on fumes, too drained to be dangerous to anyone. It's never just you, it's never just her. It's the system of the two of you and what you built. And if that system isn't feeding intimacy, it's starving it. So is your marriage over? Marriages don't end in explosions, they end with leaks, quietly. You know it's over when she doesn't like you anymore. You're roommates, not partners. Sex is gone, and so is any discussion or talk about it. Respect has died, you're being berated, you're being put down, you're being belittled constantly. And inside you feel dead too. You don't want to go home. Why would you want to hang out with her? And that's when men fall into the final traps. They become the loyal but broken brother. They're faithful, they're dependable. They're still paying the bills, they're still protecting her. But they're no longer chosen, no longer seen. Others become the packless wolf, howling for those scraps of attention from a woman, like I said earlier, who's already gone. Loyal, yes, but invisible in her eyes. He tells himself it's absolutely fine to be alone. The lone wolf doesn't need a pack. That silence is strength and he's stoic. But truthfully, is it? Or did you just wake up one morning and realise you're alone and then you call it a choice because the truth hurts too much? Now, can desire ever return? A marriage isn't over when the sex stops. It's over when the friendship, respect and desire die and neither of you is willing to fight for them. So can desire ever return? Yes, but only under certain conditions. Yes, if respect and friendship it still breathes. Yes, if you can rebuild the polarity, your edge, your mission, your gravity. And yes, if you address the health and biology. But not if the resentment has rotted the foundation. Not if respect has gone. Desire doesn't return through begging, bribing or spreadsheets. It comes back when you stop being the beaten up car in the garage and she remembers the truth. You have to become the Ferrari again that she forgot. Every archetype has an escape hatch. The invisible man, he can make himself undeniable. The loyal brother can rise as sovereign. The addicted comfort seeker has to walk back into the fire, but only if you choose to. So here's the question is, do you want to rebuild the fire? Or do you want to let the bed go cold forever? Now, for me, I had to walk out and rebuild. That was my choice. But I'm going to throw you a curveball here. What if divorce was never on the table? Imagine you had no exit, no papers to sign, no chance to walk away. What would you do then? Recently I saw a short and this woman was on it and she was giving the rules for her marriage. And one of her rules stood out above anything else. It was no divorce ever. They had to work through every problem, no escape hatches. They weathered every storm together, no matter how hard. It was their commitment to each other. Now, I'm not going to say whether that's the right or the wrong rule. I like it, but I'm also glad I left my ex. But it is a sharp question. If you couldn't walk out, how would you fight differently? What would you be willing to rebuild? How would you lead? How would you lead? Because sometimes the issue isn't whether you can leave, it's whether you're willing to lead. From this moment forward, you choose. Stay the man who waited too long or wake up the fire that makes her see you again. Talk isn't going to change anything. Men don't transform by talking about it. We transform when we get in action, when we get up off the canvas and when we fight back. That's what we do. That's what we're really good at. So here's the test, the 7-day fire test. For 1 week, stop begging, stop chasing, stop freezing in that bed. Every day, do one act that rebuilds you. Don't worry about what she's doing. Go train harder. Set a new boundary. Make a bold move. Start a new project. Focus on something other than her. Stop orbiting her like she's the star, because you're the other star in this relationship. And at the end of that 7 days, ask, do I feel more alive or am I still frozen? Then ask this question in front of the mirror. Stand there and say, would she fight to win me again today? And if the answer is no, that is your call to rebuild. If you look like a melted candle, get in the gym, no more waiting. Then there's the bedside note. Every night for those 7 nights, write one sentence about how your bed feels. So as you sit there and you're about to go to sleep, roll over and type it. By the end, you're going to have a clear picture of whether you're living in an intimacy or you're living in that ice block. That's the work we do here. Now step into the comments. Tell me what you need. Share your successes, share your failures. Tell us where you went wrong so that your other brothers can avoid that path and we can try something different. Let us stand on each other's shoulders, because this isn't a video, this is an initiation and it begins from this moment forward. Brother, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's going to help you. Let's get in there and let's start really working on this. Let's make our marriage something spectacular. And if it isn't spectacular and you don't want it, let's know it's the right thing to do to walk away.